Welcome to our lesson of Adobe After Effects. In this lesson, we are going to learn about text or the usage of text in Adobe After Effects. Obviously, when you are making animations or 3D content or whatever there is, even though like let's say customization of a video, of your footage and all of those, well, obviously you're going to need text, right? And if the text is like very simple and plain, it's not gonna look that good or not that attractive, and it's not gonna attract the viewers either. So obviously we are going to work with text and Adobe After Effects. Most of the time in our previous lesson we used the text, okay, but we didn't make any, let's say, attractive transitions or animation or edits applied on it. So we are going to show you all of the things which we can do by using text in Adobe After Effects. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the lesson where we are going to start off by putting in our composition and then starting off with our text. To do that, I'm going to do is click on composition, click on new composition. I'm going to make it black and select your frame rate or type in your frame rate, whichever one you want. I'm going to click on OK. Now, as we have our panel, which is the display panel or composition panel, now the first thing I'm going to do is going to be adding in our text box. To add in our text box, what you have to do is just click on this option, which is going to be Ctrl+T, horizontal type tool, and you can add in your text just like this. And you will find out that you're going to have your cursor inside of it. Click inside of it and just type in, let's say this is text. Now, as this is done, what you can also do is decrease the size of the margin of this, box. Let's say this is a text. Now I'm going to click on the select tool. I'm going to do is increase the size a bit more so that I can keep it somewhere around over here. I'm going to press on undo and I'm going to redo it. I'm going to press on Y. And if you see that redo text, okay, I'm going to do is zoom in and you'll find this option over here. I'm going to do is increase the size. Select this. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is that if you want your, let's say, anchor at the middle, you can use the shortcut key, which is going to be Control-Alt and then Home, or Control-Shift+Home. So I'm going to click on this tool, and then I'm going to do is press on Control-Shift and Home. Okay. First off, select on this. Now that is selected, if it's not selected, what you can also do is click on this option and keep it right at the middle. Hold on to Shift. What you're going to do is keep it around over here. Now that has been perfectly applied. What you can also do is keep the anchor at the center. Just hold on to Shift and you will find out the center. And keep it somewhere around over here. And you can also click on snapping and you can change this anchor wherever you want. You press on Ctrl+Z and you can see that it is in the middle this time. Okay, so this is basically how you keep a text. Then you can also like increase the size. Click on the selection tool. I'm gonna do is increase the size, hold on to Shift so it's like perfect. What I'm gonna do is keep it somewhere around over here. I'm gonna keep it over here. Okay, now if you want to like add in or like customize your specific text however you want, just like you do in other software such as Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Photoshop, Lightroom, and all of those, Illustrator. So what you have to do is just on the right side of the panel, you'll find out these tools. Well, this is the character, tool. You'll be able to customize your text however you want. Let's say you want to fix the text size. Then you can also fix the settle on the leading, metric. Then we also have this adjustment or spacing. Then we also have like how thick it should be, the stroke width and the strokes. Then we have is the size or the vertical scale. You can also see that there is baseline shift and this one is horizontal scale, and we have sume for selected characters. Okay, well, this is mainly for different kind of characters which you can like resize it, okay, or specific ones. So from here, what we're going to do first is going to be changing our text font. Double click on it. I'm going to do select on this option. From here, you can select whichever font you want to apply. You'll find out that there are a lot of these samples, and you can see on the right side, let's say I'm going to use this one, click on it, and you can see it has been applied. Then select this text box and increase the size a bit so that it is applied or fully visible. Now what you can also do is fix out this group. There's like regular, bold and all of those if you want to use that. Some fonts does not support that. What you're going to do is press on Control Z. Control Z, I'm going to do is fix the text like this, and from here you'll be able to see italic, bold and bold italic. Double click on it. I'm going to do is select on italic. You can see this is italic now. You can also use bold if you want to. You can also use bold italic at the same time. But one thing what you can do is, you can't do is going to be underline. Okay, so you have to like make out your underline if you want to apply it. But if you don't want that, that's like totally up to you how you're going to work with it. Then we have is the sizing. You can increase the size by holding onto this, but you will see that at a stage it is not visible. Well, it's because the border is, crossing the limit. So I'm going to click on this and increase the size. I'm going to click on the selection tool and paste it somewhere around over here. I'm going to do is select on this, select on here over here. I'm going to type in, I'm going to do is first zoom out. Select on the selection tool, paste it over here. Okay, I'm just going to keep it to be text, okay? What I'm going to do is hold on a shift and decrease the size just a bit. You can see it looks a lot more better. Okay, I'm going to hold on to something around here. And what you're going to do is obviously select on the selection tool, Control and Home. Double tap on it. Okay, you'll be able to find out this tool and keep it at the center. Make sure to keep the snapping on so that you will be able to do that very easily. Or you can also use to like hold on the shift and then use it. Okay, now the other tools are this auto. Let's say I'm gonna click on this and you can fix it out just the way you want it. I'm gonna click on this option, selection tool, double click on it, and then change it however you want, even though it's not visible because I don't have any text above this one. You can also fix the metrics if you want to. You can use optical. Then we have is the spacing, which you will be able to apply by using this or like dragging it however you want it. You can also fix the strokes by clicking on the PX, and now you can see the strokes are a lot thicker. But I'm going to do is going to be selecting on this, keep it on 5 pixels. So this is a bit visible. And you can also fix the size of this. And you can also fix on however you want stroke over fill. You can also keep it to be all fills over stroke or some all strokes over fill, whichever one you want. That's like totally up to you how you're going to work with it. Then we have is this one. This is also a bit spacing, but it's going to keep it like this. But I'm going to do is increase the size of this so that all of it is visible. So I'm going to keep it somewhere around over here. Select on this tool and keep it at the center. Okay, now we are done. We can see this option too. You'll be able to fix out the scaling of specific text too by using this option. And you will also be able to position it just the way you want to, but you can see the anchor is not moving with the text. So to do that, what you're going to do is hold on to this and keep it like this. Okay, now we have it at the center. Now another thing is how will you be able to fix out your layer. To do that, what I'm going to do is going to be making a layer which is going to help us to put in our text, and that is going to be a specific text layer. So click on this layer option, click on new, and you will find out text, which is going to be a large, let's say, shortcut key, which you can see from over here, new, and the shortcut key is going to be Control Alt Shift and then T. Well, some of you might find it to be useful or like fast, but I kind of prefer to like make up the text box or make it from over here, and it's a bit more faster for me instead of like typing all of those, because sometimes I accidentally hit on my Windows key, or which is the startup key, or when I'm using Mac I sometimes hit on the command key. Okay, so it kind of comes up as a problem. So it's like totally up to different like individuals. You can use it or you can also not use it. So here I'm going to do is type in my text. Let's say I'm going to type in this is the text, and you can also see that it's not like going outside of this box, because now it's like making the box at the same time, and it's not like invisible. Okay, it's not turning invisible because of that. So what I'm going to do is keep it somewhere over here, I'm gonna do is keep it like this. I'm gonna take it around over here. Now I'm gonna do is find out the anchor. You can see the anchor is at the center. So as it is at the center, what we're gonna do is open this up as we have our text layer over here. I'm gonna delete it. This is the text, okay? So I'm gonna do is right click on it, or I'm gonna do is extend it first. And here on our transform, we will be able to work with anchor points, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. Well, if you've seen my previous lessons, you already know how you'll be able to work through it and also add animations just the way you want it. From here, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting on our opacity and decreasing it if I want to. I'm going to keep it somewhere around over here. And if you want to like fix the color, I'm going to do is double tap on it. And from here, I'm going to do is select the color. Let's say I'm going to use something like this or a bit darker, press on OK. And now we have our text. And I'm going to do is increase the opacity, keep it 99%, but I'm going to do is keep it a bit brighter, press on OK, and now we'll be able to see it. Now, what will happen if I copy a whole paragraph and apply it right over here? So as I already have a paragraph copied to my clipboard, I'm going to do is just cut this off. And then I'm going to do is just paste in Control and V. And I'm going to tap on it again. And now you can see it has been made. But it is still in a line. And how are we going to fix it? Click on the selection tool, keep it around over here, double tap on it, and then I'm going to do is find out, let's say, spacings. To do that, I'm going to do is go a bit down, find this option of paragraph, find this option of center line, or keep it like this, however you want. But I'm going to do is first off, decrease the size just a bit. Okay, I'm going to click on this. 9px. Then I'm going to do is just press on Control and Home or Control Shift and Home. If it's still not working, I'm going to do is just drag it right around over here. I'm going to do is paste it up over here. Okay. But first thing I'm going to do is going to be selecting on this text. And I'm going to do is hit on enter. 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 Okay. Now as we're done, I'm going to select on the selection tool again. From here, what I'm going to do is going to be increasing the size just a bit more. And keeping it like this. Right? Just keep it somewhere around over here. I'm going to zoom in and you will find it to be scrambled like this. What I'm going to do is press on Z again. But to do that, I'm going to do is going to be removing all of this. So you can see that this has been applied. Now, what if you want to add more changes to it? So first off, I'm going to click on this characters and find add paragraph. And here you'll be able to fix out the alignment on this text. Okay, I'm going to do is select on all of them. Now I'm going to do is find out the ones which I actually need, which is also left, right, center, and also justified at the same time. So now you know basically what you can do about this text options in Adobe After Effects. But we didn't even show you any part about animation or how you'll be able to, add it up with animation. So if you want to do that, just stay with us and I'm going to show you a couple of these animation methods so that you can get an actual result out of it. So I'm going to do is going to be deleting this part. Now, as I've deleted that part, what I'm going to do right now is going to be adding an animation to a specific text. So first off, I'm going to do is going to be clicking on layer, click on new and find out text. And here on the text, I'm going to do is type in text. Okay. Here on text, I'm just going to type in text. So first off, I'm going to do is going to be fixing our anchor to be at the center. Now, as it is at the center, I'm going to do is going to be selecting on the selection tool and increasing the size just the way I want it. And now you can see this is just the way I kept it just a while ago. But it didn't have any color back then, but now it has a bit of color. Now, what if you want to add in a couple of animation to make it look a lot more attractive so that viewers or, the audience will find it to be a bit good? So as we learned about keyframing, So it's not that big of an issue to actually make animations on it. So first thing what we're gonna do is going to be making keyframes and also a couple of animation that we can put on the specific text. So first things first, what I'm gonna do is click on this text option, and here what I'm gonna do is go off this effect option, and in this effect option you will find all of these options which you can apply. But here what we're gonna do is going to be making these markers and all of those. We can do that. We can also use transformation and all of those, but what we're gonna do is animate it. So I'm gonna click on animate and select on the one which you actually need. Let's say if you want to skew it, to skew it up. If you want to like track or like line anchor, line spacing, character offset, the value, whichever one you want, you can do that like from here. So from here what we're gonna do is going to be, let's say I want to fill color or maybe stroke color. So I'm going to click on RGB, and you can see that we have our RGB over here. But I'm going to do is going to be clicking on over here, and the stroke color should be red. Okay, so I'm going to make up this change over here, and on this part I'm going to select on this and then select on another color, press on OK. Then I'm going to do is go over here and I'm going to change the color a bit more. Press on OK. I'm gonna select on over here and select on this, and I'm gonna do is go off over here. Press on OK. Now what I'm gonna do is it's going to render all of it together. You can see the green part, it is not rendered yet. But what I'm gonna do is going to be hitting on the space bar so that it renders up on its own. So you can see this is red, green, and then yellow, and this is just the loop over and over again. Okay, but you can see that it is still not rendered, so it's taking a bit of a time to render over here, and after it is done it's going to show off our end result. I'm going to do is keep it like this and play it up, and you can see now the whole thing has been made. You can see it is going from red to green to yellow and then to this orange-ish or brownish color. So now you know a bit of what you can apply on this. I'm going to do is remove this animator 1 as we don't want this animation over here. Now I'm going to do is animate a bit more and show you how you'll be able to do that. Let's say I'm going to do is use character offsets. First off, I'm going to do is click on character offsets, and then we have is our range and character offset over here. First of all, I'm going to do is going to be increasing the size so that it zooms in, or like let's say zooms out all of a sudden. I'm going to do is going to be zooming out first. Increase the size. Just keep it just like this. Zoom out a bit more. Now what I'm going to do is going to be keeping it over here. And I'm going to do is anchor this character offset. From here I'm going to do is take it up over here. And I'm going to do is just keeping it at the center. Okay, now we know how you'll be able to do that. So it is quite done. You can see that this is basically what it is. What I'm gonna do is mainly it is our position. So you can use this character offset, or let's say I'm gonna do is first off let's play it off and see how it actually works. You can see this is the character offset. So I'm gonna do is add this transform option, and here I'm gonna make another one. Let's say I'm gonna take this over here. I'm gonna find out the position. First off, I'm gonna do is going to be increasing the size just like I did. What I'm gonna do is increase this a bit more. And I'm gonna use it to be something like this, and now we have a result. I'm gonna do is click on this position. You can see the position is like this. Then I'm gonna do is take it up over here, and obviously keep it or keep this going down. So I'm gonna do is just hold on to this. Now we basically have our final one. So my one's basically done. If it's still not visible, what I'm going to do is going to be clicking on this position, press on OK, and here I'm going to get my result to be like zoomed out or zoomed in. Now what we're going to do is just play it up and see how it actually works. You can see this is how it's going to function. Okay, and you can see it is rendering, so I'm going to do is keep it like this for a while. I'm going to do is keep it somewhere around over here. It's going to render it up, and you can see this is basically how it will look like. See, this is like very simple and also easy to do. So what it did is just zoom in or like zoom out. Okay, now if you want to like fix out more of it, like the speed and all of those, you can just open up this graph option and select on position and scale control. Now I'm going to do is increase the size just a bit more, and here I'm going to do is keep this part. Okay, keep this to be somewhere around over here. Let's say I'm going to keep it somewhere like this, and here I'm going to fix it out just like this too, a bit slower, but keep it just like this. Okay, so that I get a specific result, I'm going to do select on this area, and I'll find this bar over here, which is going to help us increase it a bit more. Now I'm going to do is clicking on this graph option, and it's going to render it up just a bit more, and here we will find this option of, let's say, zooming out. So now you can see it is a lot smoother than how it basically was on the first one. Okay, you can see this is how it will look like. So this part is also done. We now know how we will be able to use that type of animation or transition by using text in Adobe After Effects. But there are a lot of these options. So first off, what I'm going to do is keep this option over here. Keep this at the center or keep it somewhere where we can use it. Now, let's say I want to use blur, okay? Or let's just say I just want it to move in or like fade in. You can do that too by using opacity. Then I'm going to do is going to be clicking on the scale option, delete all of them. Now I'm going to do zoom in a bit more and find out the opacity, fix it out. I'm going to do is keep it out around over here, and I'm going to do is decrease the opacity just like this, and I'm going to do is apply in a stop clock, and here I want it to appear up. So I'm going to do is going to be clicking on opacity and increasing the size, or let's say increasing the percentage. I'm going to do is take it up at the front, and you can see it has started rendering. And as it will be done with rendering, you will see that this is how basically it will just pop up on your screen, and this is like very simple. So this is basically it. Okay, now you know how you'll be able to use fade in type of animation or transition too. What if you want to use like blurred options or blurred animation? To use blurred animation, the next thing what you're gonna do is going to be obviously applying in let's say effects. To do that, what we're gonna do is going to be apply effects. Right click on it, and you will find out in animation you will find this blur option first, but you can also go over to effect and find out the blur option. Click on this blur option, and here you will find it out as a property. But you can also go over here on libraries and all of those and find out the ones which you actually need. Click on library, and here over here you will find this effect and preset, and you will be able to find out the blur option from over here and also find a couple of the changes. Okay, let's say I'm going to do is blur and sharpen. Select on this. I'm going to use it later on, but first let me show you how you'll be able to work on this over here. I'm going to click on this transform and remove it. Just press on this and delete. The first thing I'm going to do is going to be clicking on this blur. I'm going to do is decrease or increase the blur of this. Just keep it somewhere around over here like this, and add in that keyframe. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do is decrease it. Now as we're done, start from the first hit on enter. It's gonna like make up our changes and also render it at the same time. And you can see at a stage it will be like totally visible. I'm gonna do is take it around over here, keep it like this, and now you can see this is a lot more smoother and a lot more faster. And if it's still not faster and smoother, what you're gonna do is going to be going over to this graph and make changes on your own. See, this is like very simple. But what if you want to use applying in, let's say, blur effect? So I'm going to click on this animation, and here I'm going to do is going to be clicking on black teal blur, or whichever type of blur you want to apply. Let's say I'm going to use Gaussian blur. I'm going to select on this, and I'm going to do is apply it over here. Let's say Gaussian blur, text, and you can see the effect has appeared over here, Gaussian blur. But what we're going to do is going to be increasing this size again, and I'm going to do the same thing. Click on this blurriness, and I'm going to do is increase the blurriness. You can see this is basically how it will look like. I'm going to add in that effect, and I'm also going to use vertical. I'm going to use repeat edges, and what we're going to do is going to be selecting on this option of 4 and decreasing the blurriness of this. You can see it is 0, and also fix it to be horizontal and vertical. But I'm going to do is start it off over here. You can see that this is basically how it will look like. From here, you can basically use any type of effect which you want to apply in your specific text, and it's going to work on loops over and over again. So I'm going to do is select on this effect and remove it as we're done with that. Let's say I'm going to use another type of, let's say, effects or animation which I want to apply. From here, what I'm going to do is going to be stylizing it. Click on stylize. Let's say I'm going to click on cartoon, hit on this, fix it up on this text option. I'm going to do is click on cartoon, hit on render. Let's say I'm going to do is detail reduce or radius. I'm going to do is detail threshold, increase it, fill on edges, or just keep it on edges. And you will be able to use a lot of these options over here, and you can see this is basically how it will look like. So I'm going to keep it around over here, keep it like this. Now, as all of them has been applied, what we're going to do is going to be going over here and obviously change it. Fills and edges, decrease it. Okay, I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to take it around over here, play it up, and you will see the changes in your specific text. You will see suddenly it will just start turning into purple, and also to the specific type of text which was a bit before. Now, another thing what you can do is going to be adding in motion blur. Okay, so if you add in motion blur, it's going to look a lot more better. I'm going to do is first off delete all of them as I don't want them. But I'm going to do the same thing over here, which I did a while ago. I'm going to click on this effect and delete. Click on this transform. And here I'm going to do is increase the size. Let's say I'm going to select the size from over here. And I'm going to do is going to be selecting on the scales option. First I'm going to do is keep it around over here. And select on scale and also position. And I'm going to do is take it around over here. I'm going to do is obviously decreasing the size. Now you can see this is how it will look like. Now what we're going to do is going to be clicking on both of them so that we have both of these options. We have our position 2. Hit on this and we have it. Now what we're going to do is going to be clicking on toggle switch modes. In the toggle switch modes, first off I'm going to do is click on this transform as we don't want that anymore. Make sure it is on motion blur. And I'm going to do select on this and keep it like this. Click on toggle switch modes and click or keep it on normal if you want to. I'm going to do is start it up, play it up. You can see this is basically how it will look like. And if it's like, very slow, what you're going to do is just go off the graph and select on, let's say, click on transform. Here I'm going to do is going to be selecting on position and scale. increasing the size a bit above over here. I'm going to do is select on these. Select on this bar. I'm going to do is increasing this size. I'm going to keep it like this. Okay. And as we're done, I'm going to do is increase or decrease the size from over here. As we're done, I'm going to do is just play it up. Click on this option again, and we are good to go. So I'm going to do is keep it a bit, faster. Now we basically have it. Play it up. And basically now we are done. And if you want to increase this, let's say the speed, you can do it by using the graph tool too. So hope you understood everything about this lesson, and obviously on the right side we have like tons of presets that are available which you can use over and over again on your specific text. But it's going to take another software, which is going to be the Adobe or Creative Cloud Bridge, so that you'll be able to apply it. Okay, and make sure to keep connected or using up your subscription on Adobe After Effects so that you get all of the functionality Adobe After Effects has to offer, and also make sure to use the newest version of it. So let's move on to your next lesson, and hope you understood everything about this one.